This week, Turkey concluded a mass trial that has divided much of a country, but whose historic significance is proclaimed by both supporters and detractors. As the country enters a period of reflection in a summer of upheaval, with the festive end of a holy month of Ramadan, the consequences of that trial, and of what some observers see as an atmosphere of score settling, are only likely to grow in importance. The trial itself, called Ergenekon, was an epic, a 5-year case against 275 people based on thousands of pages of charges, including an alleged coup attempt against the Islamist-rooted government of Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Supporters say that by holding the military to account, the trial marked a first in a country scarred by many such plots in the past. Critics allege that while a hardcore of plotters probably did attempt a coup, the case sucked in far too many people on spurious and sometimes unrelated charges. By passing a series of tough sentences and acquitting only 21 people, the judges in the case made clear where they stood. Now the question is how the Ergenekon verdict affects Turkish political life going forward, whether as an exemplary warning against coup plotting or as a byword for flawed and oppressive justice. This is no idle question. Mr. Erdogan has depicted the recent protests as a plot against Turkey. His opponents say the government is using state institutions to revenge itself on the protesters and their backers, even through a tax probe on the Koç Group, Turkey's biggest company, which owns a hotel that sheltered the demonstrators. Ministers dismiss such allegations, but more trials are on their way. Meanwhile, the consequences of Ergenekon and the new turn in Turkish politics could affect still more momentous issues, notably the country's Kurdish conflict, in which 35,000 people have died over 3 decades. Bringing the dispute to an end is a strategic as well as a domestic priority. If Mr. Erdogan could do so, he could bolster relations with the Kurds of Iraq and Syria, hugely important in a Middle East in chaos. Because some of the figures in Ergenekon were also long alleged to play leading roles in a 1990s dirty war against the Kurds, many people in the Kurdish southeast approved of the prosecution and cheered on this week's verdicts. But a big question remains. Can an attempt to resolve the Kurdish issue through granting more political rights work at a time when politics are so polarized and when many allege that authoritarianism is on the march? This phase of the Ergenekon case is over. Appeals are pending. But its implications are set to rumble on. Daniel Dombey, Financial Times, Istanbul.